6 seasons, 53 episodes. One of the most watched cable dramas in American television history. Yellowstone premiered on the Paramount Network in June 2018 and changed the conversation about what prestige television could look like outside of HBO and Netflix. It made a superstar of its creator, Taylor Sheridan, spawn an entire extended universe of spin-offs, and, perhaps most remarkably, it made some of its actors extraordinarily wealthy in the process. But here's what most fans don't know. The financial gap between the richest and the poorest member of this ensemble is staggering. We're talking about a cast whose combined net worth stretches into the hundreds of millions of dollars. And today, we're breaking it all down, number by number, from the bottom to the very top. Stay until the end, because number one will genuinely stop you in your tracks. Before we dive in, let's establish the scale of what Yellowstone actually became. According to Nielsen data reported by Variety in 2022, the show was pulling in over 12 million viewers per episode during its peak seasons, an astonishing number for a cable network in the streaming era. The show ranked as the most watched drama on American television for 3 consecutive years. That level of viewership translates directly into leverage at the negotiating table. When a show performs those numbers, actors don't just earn their original salaries. They renegotiate. They get back-end considerations. They get offered spin-offs. And their market value, inside Hollywood and out, permanently shifts upward. What we're about to explore is exactly how that transformation played out for 10 of the show's most prominent cast members. We relied on reporting from Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Celebrity Net Worth, and Parade Magazine, among the most credible sources available for celebrity financial tracking. Where numbers remain contested or unverified, we'll say so directly. Let's count it down. Starting at number 10 is a man who played the show's most lovable underdog, Jefferson White, known to fans as Jimmy Herdstrom, the fumbling, earnest ranch hand whose arc across 5 seasons became one of Yellowstone's most emotionally resonant storylines. White's career before Yellowstone was built on solid, if unspectacular, television work. He appeared in critically praised dramas, including The Americans and Manhattan, building a reputation as a technically gifted actor who could inhabit complex supporting roles. But supporting roles in prestige, cable don't make you wealthy. They make you respected. Yellowstone changed his financial picture meaningfully, though not dramatically. White is estimated to have earned in the range of $50,000 to $100,000 per episode in earlier seasons, with that figure rising to the show's run as his character became a fan favorite. His current estimated net worth sits in the range of $500,000 to $1 million, real money for most people, but a fraction of what his co-stars have accumulated. What White represents is the honest reality of ensemble television. Not everyone walks away a millionaire, even on a hit show. His future financial trajectory will depend almost entirely on what comes next, whether that's more television, independent film, or a role in the ever-expanding Sheridan universe. At number 9, we have Kelsey Bill, who brought warmth, resilience, and a complicated grace to the role of Monica Long Dutton, Case's wife and the show's primary Native American female voice. Asbill, born in Columbia, South Carolina in 1991, built her early career on teen television, earning recognition through One Tree Hill, Pair of Kings, and Teen Wolf before Taylor Sheridan cast her in Wind River in 2017. That prestige film performance was her audition for Yellowstone, and she got the part the following year. Site index equals 10-1. Her current ledger sits at approximately $3 million per celebrity net worth, a tenfold jump from her pre-Yellowstone earnings on her earlier television work. Site, she reportedly earned around $200,000 per episode, which, across 5 seasons of significant screen time, represents a substantial career payday. What makes Asbill's financial story particularly interesting is the strategic patience it reveals. Site index equals 10-1. She has not pursued spin-off negotiations publicly and has not signed major franchise commitments /site, suggesting an actor who is building critical capital rather than chasing maximum short-term compensation. That's the same career architecture that produced Kelly Riley's eventual Beth Dutton breakthrough. Don't be surprised if Asbill's net worth looks very different 5 years from now. At number 8, we have Wes Bentley. And if you know anything about his career arc, his position on this list carries a particular emotional weight. Bentley exploded onto the scene in 1999 with American Beauty, one of the most celebrated films of that decade. He played Ricky Fitz, the camera-obsessed teenager next door, in a performance so distinct that it earned him a BAFTA Award nomination and established him, seemingly overnight, as one of his generation's most gifted young actors. Then things got complicated. Bentley has spoken openly in interviews about his struggles with addiction during the 2000s, a period that cost him roles, relationships, and a decade of professional momentum. His comeback was gradual. Appearances in the Hunger Games franchise, American Horror Story, Interstellar, and Ghost Rider rebuilt his reputation, but none of it restored the superstar trajectory that seemed so inevitable after American Beauty. Yellowstone gave him something arguably more valuable than a blockbuster, a character with genuine psychological complexity. Jamie Dutton, adopted, brilliant, desperate for approval, capable of genuine evil, became one of the show's most discussed characters precisely because Bentley played him with such uncomfortable authenticity. Site index equals 5-1. His net worth is reported at $3 million. And like several of his co-stars, he reportedly earned approximately $200,000 per episode during the show's run. Site, the character's death in the show's finale closes one financial chapter, but Bentley's renewed credibility as a dramatic actor opens others. Number 7 brings us to one of the most authentically Western figures in the entire cast. A man who didn't have to act like a cowboy because he already was one. Forey J. Smith plays Lloyd Pierce, the bunkhouse patriarch, the veteran hand who keeps the younger cowboys in line with a look and a few quiet words. His is not a flashy role. It doesn't generate headlines or Emmy campaign coverage, but it is in many ways the emotional spine of the ranch's daily life, and Smith plays it with a kind of effortless authority that only comes from actually living close to the land. Before Yellowstone, Smith had a career that most Hollywood agents would have considered modest. Stunt work, supporting roles in genre films, a reputation in the industry as a reliable hand for Western productions. His credits include Rambo 3, Two Guns in Hell, or High Water. That last credit is significant. It represents another Taylor Sheridan production, which means Smith was already in the creator's orbit before the big show came along. Site index equals 2-1. Smith has stacked up quite a heap of fortune from his career, with his net worth presently estimated at $6 million. Site, that figure reflects not just Yellowstone earnings, but decades of stunt work, which, while physically punishing, commands premium compensation for skilled performers who can execute complex sequences safely. At number 6, we have Luke Grimes, and the reason we say "and rising fast" will become very clear in a moment. Grimes, born in Dayton, Ohio, built a solid pre-Yellowstone career through carefully chosen projects. A supporting role in Clint Eastwood's American Sniper, parts in the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, and enough television work to demonstrate range. None of it made him famous. Yellowstone did. He played Case Dutton, John's youngest son, a military veteran struggling to reconcile his loyalty to his family with his love for his wife Monica and his commitment to something more honest than the Dutton way of doing business. It's a quieter role than Beth or Rip, but Grimes filled it with a stillness that proved, over 5 seasons, to be genuinely compelling. Site index equals 1-1. His current ledger sits at $4 million as of early 2026, an 8-fold jump from his pre-Yellowstone net worth estimate of $500,000. Site, he reportedly started the show at $200,000 per episode, consistent with most of the principal cast. But here's why his future financial picture looks dramatically different. Site index equals 1-1. In December 2024, Deadline reported Grimes had closed a deal to lead his own Yellowstone universe spinoff, Marshals, with production targeting a 2026 premiere. Site index equals 11-1. The show premiered on March 1st, 2026 on CBS with 9.52 million viewers and earned a season 2 renewal just 11 days later. Site. Spin-off lead compensation in the Sheridan universe puts performers into entirely different financial brackets. When Marshall Season 2 is complete, Luke Grimes' net worth will not read like a number 6 on any list. Number 5 is where this list gets genuinely complicated and genuinely fascinating. Kelly Riley is, by any honest cultural measurement, the breakout star of Yellowstone. Beth Dutton, fiercely intelligent, devastatingly cruel, emotionally wounded in ways the show only gradually reveals, became a pop culture phenomenon in a way that none of the show's other characters quite matched. The Beth Dutton memes, the Halloween costumes, the merchandise, the endless online debates about whether she's a villain, a hero, or something the industry doesn't have a clean word for. Riley, born in Surrey, England in 1977, was already a respected actress before Yellowstone, known to British audiences through Pride and Prejudice, Sherlock Holmes, and True Detective, but she was 41 years old when the show premiered. American cable television had given her a character that, at an age when many actresses feel the industry closing its doors, launched her into a genuinely different stratosphere of fame and compensation. Site index equals 6-1. Kelly Riley carries an estimated net worth of $5.5 million in 2025, according to public sources. /site, but here's where it gets interesting. Site index equals 1-1. She was reportedly demanding $1.5 million per episode for the Beth and Rip spin-off series, a figure that would have placed her in the highest compensation tier for any working television actress in 2026. The dispute resolved in May 2024 with terms not publicly disclosed, but the negotiation itself confirmed her market value. /site. The public net worth figure almost certainly understates her actual financial position, particularly when accounting for season 5 compensation, her marriage to financier Kyle Bauer, and the spin-off earnings now flowing in. Kelly Riley's real number is likely between $10 and $20 million and climbing. Number 4 is Rip Wheeler himself, Cole Hauser, and his story might be the most layered in Hollywood terms of anyone on this list. Hauser didn't arrive at Yellowstone as an unknown. He spent the 1990s and early 2000s building a substantial film career. Dazed and Confused, Good Will Hunting, Tigerland, Pitch Black, Too Fast, Too Furious. These weren't bit parts. These were substantial roles in commercially successful films alongside recognizable names. But somewhere between 2005 and 2018, the big roles got smaller and the franchise invitations stopped coming. Yellowstone, and specifically Rip Wheeler, changed everything. Rip is John Dutton's enforcer, his most loyal soldier, the man who will do what needs to be done without question or complaint. He is also, unexpectedly, the show's great romantic figure. His relationship with Beth became one of cable television's most talked about love stories precisely because neither character should, on paper, be capable of the tenderness they occasionally show each other. Site index equals 1-1. Hauser started Yellowstone at $200,000 per episode in 2018 and reached approximately $700,000 per episode by season 5. /site index equals 1-1. His current ledger sits at $8 million per celebrity net worth, the highest among the non-Costner principals. /site. His family background adds another dimension to the story that rarely gets mentioned. Site index equals 1-1. Hauser comes from old Hollywood architecture. His mother, Cass Warner, founded production company Warner Sisters. His father, Wings Hauser, earned an Independent Spirit Award nomination, and his maternal grandfather, Milton Sperling, produced more than 50 films and earned 2 Oscar nominations. /site. The Hauser family ledger predates Yellowstone by 3 generations. This isn't a working actor who hit it lucky on one show. This is someone whose entire lineage was built for Hollywood, and who finally found a role that matched his inheritance. At number 3, we have the actor who might represent the most genuinely remarkable career arc in the entire cast. A man who waited decades for the industry to see what he was capable of, Gil Birmingham. Born in San Antonio, Texas in 1953, and of Comanche descent, spent the first half of his professional life not in Hollywood, but in engineering, then bodybuilding, before making a late pivot to acting in the early 1980s. His screen career built slowly, across decades of supporting work, before Taylor Sheridan, who has a gift for recognizing underused talent, cast him in Hell or High Water in 2016. That film, which earned 4 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, put Birmingham alongside Jeff Bridges and established him as a Sheridan regular. Wind River followed in 2017, and then came Yellowstone in 2018 and Thomas Rainwater, Tribal Chairman, strategic rival to John Dutton, the only character in the show who consistently matched Costner's character across a negotiating table. Site index equals 11-1. Birmingham turned 72 in July 2025. He is reprising Thomas Rainwater on the CBS Yellowstone spin-off Marshals, which premiered March 1st, 2026 with 9.52 million viewers and earned a season 2 renewal just 11 days later. Site index equals 11-1. He is also reprising his role in Wind River, Rising, currently in post-production, 2 active Sheridan Universe productions at age 72. Site estimates of Birmingham's net worth vary considerably across sources, ranging from approximately $2 million on conservative end to $9 million in some reports. The most credible range, accounting for his decades of work in Yellowstone compensation, appears to sit between $5 and $9 million. What's certain is that his financial future looks more active at 72 than most actors see at 42. Now, technically, Taylor Sheridan is a cast member of Yellowstone. He appears in the show as livestock agent Travis Wheatley, a recurring character who gets some of the script's funniest moments. That qualifies him for this list. But what separates Sheridan from every other name we've mentioned is that he is not primarily an actor. He is the architect of the entire structure that made all of these other people wealthy. Sheridan grew up in rural Texas, spent years as a working actor in shows like Sons of Anarchy and Veronica Mars, then made a decision in his early 40s to stop performing and start writing. The results were extraordinary. Site index equals 4-1. He wrote Sicario and Hell or High Water, earning himself an Academy Award nomination for the latter/site, and then created Yellowstone, which became the cornerstone of an entire television universe. Site index equals 7-1. Sheridan boasts an estimated net worth of $200 million/site, built through writing, producing, directing, and creating intellectual property that Paramount Network has leveraged into multiple spin-offs. 1883, 1923, Tulsa King, Mayor of Kingstown, Lioness, and more. His deal with Paramount reportedly gave him significant back-end participation across the entire Sheridan universe, meaning every episode of every spin-off that airs generates income for the man who created the mythology. He also owns a substantial working ranch in Texas, breeds cutting horses, and has built a lifestyle that mirrors the world he writes about. Sheridan didn't just create Yellowstone. He monetized an entire American mythology, and $200 million is probably still a conservative estimate of what that mythology is worth to him personally. And here he is, the man at the top. The only reason Yellowstone is the show it became. Kevin Costner. Let's start with a number. Site index equals 4-1. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Costner is valued at approximately $250 million in 2024/site, with some estimates. Site index equals 11-1. Birmingham turned 72 in July 2025. He is reprising Thomas Rainwater on the CBS Yellowstone spin-off Marshals, which premiered March 1st, 2026 with 9.52 million viewers and earned a season 2 renewal just 11 days later. Site index equals 11-1. He is also reprising his role in Wind River, Rising, currently in post-production, 2 active Sheridan Universe productions at age 72. Site estimates of Birmingham's net worth vary considerably across sources, ranging from approximately $2 million on conservative end to $9 million in some reports. The most credible range, accounting for his decades of work in Yellowstone compensation, appears to sit between $5 and $9 million. What's certain is that his financial future looks more active at 72 than most actors see at 42. Now, technically, Taylor Sheridan is a cast member of Yellowstone. He appears in the show as livestock agent Travis Wheatley, a recurring character who gets some of the script's funniest moments. That qualifies him for this list. But what separates Sheridan from every other name we've mentioned is that he is not primarily an actor. He is the architect of the entire structure that made all of these other people wealthy. Sheridan grew up in rural Texas, spent years as a working actor in shows like Sons of Anarchy and Veronica Mars, then made a decision in his early 40s to stop performing and start writing. The results were extraordinary. Site index equals 4-1. He wrote Sicario and Hell or High Water, earning himself an Academy Award nomination for the latter/site, and then created Yellowstone, which became the cornerstone of an entire television universe. Site index equals 7-1. Sheridan boasts an estimated net worth of $200 million/site, built through writing, producing, directing, and creating intellectual property that Paramount Network has leveraged into multiple spin-offs. 1883, 1923, Tulsa King, Mayor of Kingstown, Lioness, and more. His deal with Paramount reportedly gave him significant back-end participation across the entire Sheridan universe, meaning every episode of every spin-off that airs generates income for the man who created the mythology. He also owns a substantial working ranch in Texas, breeds cutting horses, and has built a lifestyle that mirrors the world he writes about. Sheridan didn't just create Yellowstone. He monetized an entire American mythology, and $200 million is probably still a conservative estimate of what that mythology is worth to him personally. And here he is, the man at the top. The only reason Yellowstone is the show it became. Kevin Costner. Let's start with a number. Site index equals 4-1. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Costner is valued at approximately $250 million in 2024/site, with some estimates.